Hi, what's up? I hope you're keeping and trusting in the Lord and enjoy your weekend, having a restful weekend. That's what the weekend is for us, to have a rest, to have time with your families, to relax uh, and just to socialize as well. And I had a busy day. I just jumped into a class, went to work, and now I'm back home and trying to do some proposals, trying to polish up some things that I had to do in my vocational work, in my professional work. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. And as I was sitting here, I was asking myself, what is it that we say when we have to rejoice in all circumstances? Because sometimes it's very difficult to understand that concept, or that call that you're called to rejoice in all circumstances. And it's very difficult to actually come to terms with it, because you are probably in pain, in sickness, in debt, or there is political turmoil, there is economic turmoil. Yet the scriptures calls us to rejoice in all circumstances. So sometimes we question God, or we question the scriptures and ask, how can I rejoice when I'm in pain, when I cannot meet my daily needs, when I cannot put food on the table, when I cannot pay school fees for my children, when I cannot find cure for the diseases that are ailing me. But we need to understand God from this principle, or from this point, basically, not a principle. From this point, basically, we need to look at Him as a God who loves us, and He says in the scriptures that He has a plan for us, not to harm us, but a plan for a good future. And that means in everything, in all circumstances, whatever is happening because probably is not the will of God. Most of the time, it's not the will of God for us to suffer. And He says this is because we are suffering because sin came into the world. And I did on my post. If you go to my Facebook page or my Twitter page, you'll see a pinned post that gives a description of sin in a nutshell. And it says, sin is what was not meant to be in our bodies. It is what kills and destroys. So that means sin came into the world, it's in our bodies, and it kills and destroys. So if probably we're in pain, and we are probably not aligned to God's will, that means most probably is because of the sins that came into the world. So from that point, you can understand why we are being asked to rejoice in all circumstances, because there are things that are out of our understanding, that are out of our limits, that we cannot understand at this point. Things that are beyond our scientific exploit at this time. So there is sin that came into the world that kills and destroys. Another definition I've given there is sin in a nutshell is that what was not meant to be in the world, to bring evil. So if we are suffering, it's probably because there is evil in the world, and that's that much so the reason, because there is a lot of evil in the world, and people tend or become evil because of the sins that are in the world. And the reason why you're suffering is because either we've become evil ourselves, or someone else has become evil. So that means whatever you're pursuing, you're not getting it as you would have wanted to go, because there are so many blockages, even in terms of your business, in terms of your school life, in terms of your career life. You're not progressing the way you ought to have progressed because there are so many blockages along the way. Not because you're not doing the right thing, basically, because sometimes we think so. Sometimes we get ourselves in a quagmire and we think, yeah, probably I'm the one who is wrong and I'm not doing the right thing. But sometimes we blame ourselves so much. It's not you as per se. Some other time it's because of the world around you. The world is so corrupt. The world has become so evil. So you doing the right thing, and you're not getting anywhere because the other people are evil. So that's why as Christian you're also called to go and preach to the rest of the world, so that at least this evil, we are able to remove this evil amongst ourselves so that we can be able to prosper. So that's another part of the reason why we are asked to rejoice, because it's not within our capacity to remove some of this evil. Also, another definition that I've given there, sin in a nutshell, is sin is what stifles, derails, limits us, what makes us fall short of the glory of God. Yeah, sin basically limits us in significant ways. God says in the scriptures that He created a great people. So what makes us really not achieve that greatness is sins that have overwhelmed us. So that's another thing. So the reason why we ought to rejoice in all circumstances is also because God is working out things for us, and by working out things for us, we are asked to remain obedient. That's why we have the grace of God, and the grace of God does in no way give us the green light to sin. The grace of God gives us an opportunity to be saved, an opportunity to live in a wicked world and live a powerful life. Though the world is wicked, though there is a lot of sin in the world, though there is evil in the world, the grace gives that opportunity for us to be saved and to be able to achieve our greatness the way God originally intended us. So the grace of God doesn't give in any way the green light for us to live a sinful life, a life of sin. And I would like to quote a scripture that I shared today. That is from the book of Titus, chapter 2, verse 11 to 12. It says, "For the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people." It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. So we are asked to live upright and godly life. That means a life without sin. Basically, a godly life. A godly life is a life of holiness. It's a life of righteousness. That is what is called a godly life. A godly life is not what we think that it's living like a slave to religion. No, it's a life of purity. It's a life of righteousness. So this is what you are called to do in the present age, to live in that grace. And the reason why we are told to live that way is because there is still sin in the world. And to overcome this sin, we can only overcome it by the grace of God. Grace of God, again, is what I had shared earlier